First of all, I would like to thank the audience for the interest expressed for this subject and for the product that I will share with you, that is called the BNPL, which is buy now and pay later. I hope that this session will be fruitful for all of us and give a deep insight to this product that becomes the backbone of the business leaders in the payment landscape. I will go through this presentation according to this agenda that I split into two sections. The first section, which is BNPL overview, that covers definitions, advantages, statistics, and why S2M is the right provider of this solution. Then the second section, we will go deep in the description of the solution of the BNPL, which is the umbrella that covers three products, which are credit revolving, Installment Clone, and Smart Pay. As I mentioned before, the first section of this presentation, as I explained, it will cover the overview, which is definitions, advantages, statistics, S2M as solution provider. So I will start with the BNPL definitions. As you notice about the definitions that I have extracted from very important leaders in this business, and I can categorize these definitions in three categories. So BNPL can be either pay later through installment, or pay later the full amount with free interest during a period and holiday period for payment, or pay later as a bundle of purchases occurred during a given period. So this is the three categories which cover all definitions expressed by these business leaders. So after giving these definitions, I want to explore with you the advantages that normally benefit all involved actors in this business. So as you know, the main actors of this business are merchants, consumers, and the BNPL providers. So what benefits can gain a merchant from this product? First of all, is that normally BNPL remove all recession during buy-in by customers. Second advantage is that normally it gives impulse purchases as more likely to happen. That means a customer is more encouraged to do transaction with the BNPL products. And if we see what benefits or advantages for consumers, normally we can set some of them, which are first is that the consumer can buy and pay later. So this is a huge advantage. And sometimes there are some BNPL that can give additional grace period to pay, for example, a given transaction for consumers having some problems to pay. And for providers, of course, with this product, you can make more acquisition of merchants because they are interested with this product. He can make more acquisition of consumers willing to use the product in order to buy more and pay later. And of course, they can charge more on merchants using this buy now pay later, comparing with the credit cards. Now we will see some numbers about the BNPL position in the market in order to give insight about the importance of this product and how it becomes more attractive for all actors, as I mentioned earlier. So if we see the first graph, which is on the right high side of this presentation, you will notice that the progress of BNPL in terms of turnover is enormous. As we see in this graph, the turnover goes from around 3 billion on 2019 to 74 billion on 2022, which is for 24 times. And the forecasts of 114 billion on 2024, which is 1.5 times about compared with the turnover on 2022. The second graph, which is on the right upside of this presentation, it talks about the usage intent of the BNPL product by consumers per age group. And we notice that the product is more attractive for the young population. The third graph, which is in the right down side of the presentation, it gives a comparison of the BNPL products with the credit card usage per country, and shows that the usage of BNPL exceeds the usage of credit card in, for example, France, Spain, Portugal, and Poland. And the last graph, which is in the left downside of the presentation, it gives insights about the fact that more than a half population are willing to use the BNPL product again. This is very important numbers that give insights about the importance of this product. After that, now after seeing all these figures, how BNPL product is used in the market, and what the coverage in terms of products, now we have to see why we consider S2M is the right solution provider. We have 3S. We are strong in 3 areas. Strong in experience with 40 years in payment landscape, and especially in credit products. Second S, we are strong with very important references that we cite most important of them, which are we have good experience and reference in India with Ventura Infotech in 2006. We have another good reference in Jordan, which is called NI currently in 2004. And we have most recent reference, which is Ham Group in Australia and New Zealand in 2015. And we are strong in terms of expertise. So with a huge number of projects and diverse in terms of volume and diversity, we have gained very, very strong experience in this domain that we can provide to our customers when they choose to go with this product. After giving an overview about the BNPL product, now let us explore the different products we are providing within this solution. And as I mentioned earlier, BNPL solution in S2M product covers 3 options, which are credit revolving, installment loan, and smart pay. We will start by credit revolving, and we will see the different sections that allow us to go through the credit revolving. Concerning the credit revolving, so we will go through the following topics: credit revolving benefits, the key element about the credit revolving management, which is the cycle. We will see all features about credit revolving, so as overview, and then we will see what is credit revolving life cycle. Now we'll start by the benefits, and as you see, credit revolving is flexible payments because you can use as much as you want, and you pay later. You pay later. This is a flexible way to expand. We have credit facilities. Why? Because even if you have a given amount as credit limit, you will have only interest on your usage. Also, the credit limit is normally reconstituted by the repayments. And another benefit is you have more choice. That means that you can benefit from permanent credit limit, and you can make anticipated payments, which means that you can pay your transaction whenever you want. There is no limitation or restriction to pay your transaction. As product also is more convenient because normally you pay on monthly basis as per financial abilities, and you can postpone your unpaid amounts to next cycles. We talk about cycle a lot. What is this feature means? The cycle is normally handled 3 points. First, it determines the day of the month during which the account order is made. Also, it defines a period between two consecutive orders. And of course, this cycle is flexible, and normally the bank can define different cycles per customer segmentation. Second thing is that during the cycle, the payments, the minimum due, should be paid by the customer. And also, the cycle defines the periodicity of the account order that allows a regular, precise, and pertinent follow-up. It's very important, and this is the key benefits and characteristics of the cycle. So now, since we apprehend the meaning of the cycle, let us explore what key features normally covered by this product. First feature we call the minimum due, which means that the cardholder of credit card, he can consume as much as he wants during a month, and he will pay only a percentage of his usage. And this percentage is based on a set of parameters, which as you can define this minimum due as a percentage, or percentage plus fixed amount, or percentage plus fixed amount with a minimum and maximum that should fix the range of minimum due that should be paid by the customer. Second feature is the term. So the term means that what should be done during the cycle date of the customer. On the cycle date, the term means that this is the amount that should be paid by the customer, when he should pay it, which means the due date, and when the customer is considered as late payment, and also he defined what kind of channels should be used in order to pay this due amount. The third feature, which is very important, and the feature that normally regulates the calculation of the interest on the transactions. As I mentioned before, normally that interest is calculated on the amount used by the consumer. So we have two key dates used for this operation, and we call it value date and due date. So what does mean due date? It means that the grace period for the transaction should be paid in order not to generate interest on the transaction. And value date is the date from which the interest will be calculated if the transaction is not paid before the due date. We have another feature which is very important also in the domain of the credit. We call it payment priorities. We mean by that the fact that what the bank choose as priority to pay the transactions according to their natures. For example, the bank can choose to pay first the interest, then fees, after that purchase, then cash, because this priority will impact the interest as a result. So this is very important. And also to make credit revolving matched with BNPL concept, we have added a new feature in order to address the BNPL business, and we have defined this feature as a preferential interest rate to address free interest period, and we have defined what is this preferential period, and also the payment holiday means that for a given transaction done by a consumer holding BNPL product, he can purchase a good and he will pay it later with free interest period, and also with a holiday, which means that he can pay this transaction after a given period of time. And this in order to encourage merchants to acquire transaction from these consumers, and the consumers to use his product to pay transactions at a given merchant. Of course, in order to give an overview about credit revolving usage, I see very interesting to present the credit revolving life cycle from the onboarding, which means that when customer comes to request for a credit card, till the usage that we see in the up left of this presentation, which is transaction. So the cardholder can transact. The transaction will impact the account, and by the end of cycle, there is a statement that is generated that we see in the left down of the presentation. And also, when the customer comes to pay his due, this payment also will impact his accounts. So as you see, the life cycle of credits revolving covers onboarding, usage, and the statement at cycle date. The second product under the BNPL umbrella covered by Installment Solution is Installment Clone. So Installment Clone, I will present it through these three topics. First, the concept. Second topic is rules. Then the processing. So all this topic will give the overview of the solution of Installment Clone in Select System. About the concept. Installment Clone is, as a product, aims to normally convert a given transaction into installments that will normally be posted to the cardholder in months. And I give example here, which is normally one customer doing 3 transactions. First one will be split into 3 installments. Second transaction will be converted into 3 installments, and the third transaction will be split into 3 installments. So for each cycle, the first cycle, normally we will post the first installment for these 3 transactions. Then, in the second cycle, we will post the second installment for these 3 transactions. And for the third cycle, we will post the third installment for these transactions. Which means that each cycle, normally the due amount should be paid by the customer is the total amount of these 3 installments for each cycle. And normally, we manage the fact that if he didn't pay the total amount, there are late payment fees that can be applied, and also the interest on the transactions posted to installment normally due to the customers, but not yet paid on time. So, in order to allow this installment transaction to be converted to installments, there are some conditions. Each bank can normally put as rules in order to accept or reject a given installment conversion request. We can cite here the most important rules, which is the transaction amount. So the first rule is based on transaction amount, which means that the transaction amount should not exceed a maximum amount and should not be lower than a minimum amount. Also, if a customer normally using this product, if he is not good payer, normally the bank will not allow him to have this service, which means that if he didn't pay his installments during, for example, a number of months, means that this service normally will be stopped for this customer. And this is normally a preventive action. There is another action which means proactive action, which is the forced closure. If, for example, a given customer has already installments and he didn't pay his installments, there is what we call forced closure, which means that we stop installments and we post all total remaining amount should be paid by the customer. This is the rules normally we apply in order to accept or reject or stop given installment request. To manage this installment, we have 4 features that we handle. First feature with what we call billing amount. Billing amount is normally the initial purchase amount plus fees of the EMI that we accumulate before to split the amount into installments. There are installment number, which is a number of installments we want to split the transaction to, and we have installment amount, which is the amount of each installment calculated from the billing amount and installment number. Of course, there is installment fees, a fee that should be normally charged to the customer using this service. And we have another feature which is very important, is what we call deferred installment, which means that we can give a holiday period to the customer before posting first installment. Here I will give a brief description about how we handle this installment as transaction flow, and what we call here installment flow. So the customer can come and make a purchase from anywhere in the world. So even either from a merchant acquired by this BNPL provider or any merchant in the world. So once this transaction is operated, the cardholder can use any channel as mobile or portal or call center in order to ask to convert this purchase into installments. So the BNPL provider, using this condition rules in order to score the conditions of the transaction, and he will provide all information about installment result to the cardholder to his channel, either mobile or portal or call center, and he will choose to accept to convert this transaction into installment if he is comfortable with, or he will choose to let transaction as it is for the processing. Once the cardholder accepts the terms condition of the installment, the transaction will be converted automatically into installment, and the customer will receive the payment order of each installment at each cycle after processing this transaction. The last product under the BNPL umbrella of Select System of CCOM solution we call Smart Pay, and it is based on the bundle concept. The topics that we will cover within this product is the product overview. We'll explore features of this product, and we will see the business flow about this product. As I said, the Smart Pay product is based on the bundle, which is a number of transactions the customer is willing to pay later, which means that during a given period, the customer will do purchases, and the bundle will be closed either by the end of bundle period or when we reach a maximum amount allowed for a given bundle. This is the main idea of this product. Now, how we manage it, or what are the future features that we implement to manage this product? First feature is the bundle. So the bundle is a number of transactions that are normally performed by the customer within a given period. It can be 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, and with a maximum amount allowed within this bundle. The second feature is the grace period. The grace period is the period allowed by the BNPL provider to the customer to pay this bundle, which means that once the bundle is closed, the BNPL provider gives 1 week to the customer to pay this bundle, which means that he has to pay 100% of these transactions. The second feature, and it is very important, what we call snooze. If, for example, customer is not able to pay his bundle during grace period, he has the possibility to postpone the payment of this bundle, and he will ask for additional week. So this snooze as service is provided to the customer through a fees or through coupon. Coupon means that free snooze for a given number of possibilities. And of course, we have the last feature, which is fees and interest. That means that we manage normally these transactions with no interest, and with fees, what we call late payment fees, if the customer was not able to pay this bundle within the time, grace period time, or within the snooze time. Now we will explore how the flow of the bundle is operated in real world. So first thing, the customer to his mobile, he can request for bundle product card. So through his mobile, he will once he is onboarded, he will have his card on his mobile through tokenization or real card. So there are many options to provide this product to the customer. Once the customer has his card on his mobile, he starts transacting with his card. So once he transacts his transaction, so he can constitute his bundle. So this bundle was constituted within a period, as I explained before, which is 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Once the bundle is closed, either by the period, the end of the period, or the limit amount which is reached during this period, the customer will have a grace period in order to pay his bundle. The payment of the bundle is done automatically. So the system will send the payment order to his funding account, and the customer should be noticed that he can make the snooze before the payment order is done. So once the customer is willing to use the snooze, so this is what we see in this slide. He can request for snooze using fees or snooze using his coupon. Once he has snooze is accepted, he will be given another grace period in order to pay his bundle. And if he cannot pay his bundle during snooze period, he has another option, which is what we call super bundle, which means that we can convert this bundle into installments. And normally, each customer can have many bundles, but should have only one super bundle, which is converted to installments. Finally, I hope that this session was very rich and fruitful for you, and you have had a full picture about BNPL as product and S2M solution to address this product and business. We are delighted to invite you to join us on our virtual booth and welcome you to the future of digital payments with S2M. Thank you very much.